coming and joining on Cruise to Your Goals. My name is Ricky Cruz, and we have guest star Cristobal. He is the founder of Visualsubjects.
Correct.
So, all right, Chris, tell us about yourself.
So like Ricky said, my name is Cristobal Ariano. I go by Visualsubject on social media. I'm a photographer, slash videographer, creative director, and I'm currently based out in Tri-Cities, but my hometown where everything started is Bridgeport, Washington. And throughout the years, just been working on my photography side of the craft, and I'm more known for my concert photography, photographing artists, products, branding, and anything kind of like hip hop, street related. So and then just recently just been doing more of music video side now, so just been working with a couple of local artists around here and just like I said, just practicing video and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've worked with Chris, awesome photographer. Uh, I'll probably put my photos on here just to show off a little bit.
Do it. We got Ricky modeling and everything too.
Exactly, bro.
Shout out Collective
I
Conscious.
had a small stint of modeling. I was like, I'm gonna go try
Right.
just to see what all about.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, just to see, but it didn't take off. I wasn't modeling Calvin Klein or nothing, so I was just, but so how's it with the photography? How's everything going right now with COVID?
Well, obviously COVID, right, slowed everything down, but for that first month of COVID last year, everything was slow. I wasn't really doing much. I had just started a job actually in photography, and I literally worked for a month, and it was for us like it was a production company that works with schools, and they're like in charge basically, like, when you're going to high school, middle school, and all that, you take your school picture, sports pictures and stuff. That's what we were doing. Lasted a month there, and then COVID hit. So then I had to just go back to the drawing board and figure out how I was going to make an income. And I just went back to my photography, just trying to see what I could do because artists weren't in studios. People weren't out and about just asking for photos or creating music videos. So I just had to like I said, go back to the drawing board for like a good month. After that month, stuff started picking up. I was just trying to see like create more skills for myself because at that point I was just doing photography, and I was noticing like I'm not really getting anything out of it right now. So I just started learning video, started messing around with a little bit of graphic design too, like working on like covers for artists and stuff like that. So that was that was some sort of income right there too. And like I said, for that whole period of COVID, just learning a new skill, more than anything, just used it as a point of reflection, just what I could do, what I needed to improve on, and stuff like that. Went back to reading, went back to just focusing more on my health and stuff like that. More than anything, just using that time for myself, which ended up working out terrifically because after that things just went off and just started the video ended up, like coming in handy to me months later because I started, like I said, doing music videos and stuff now. So
Yeah,
just been rinsing and repeating with that.
yeah. You talking about?
Oh, but like with what you're saying, like the funny thing is too, right before COVID hit, I had just started reading this book by Carol. I forgot her last name, but it's something about mindset. And it talks about everything that you're saying. Like there's two types of mindsets. There's the fixed mindset and then the growth mindset.
Yeah,
And the fixed mindset is like thinks one way, it's just a one lane thing, closed minded. And they feel like whenever there's a barrier, like they can't do anything. As in like the growth mindset, no matter what obstacle comes their way, they're able to find a way to go around, over, under, and reading that actually helped too because it came at the right time after all this happened. I felt like for that month too, I was just like, there's nothing we can really do. And I was just more on that fixed mindset, like, well, I guess I'm just going to use this time to not do anything. And prior to that as well, I had been thinking to myself, I was like, man, if I had all the time in the world to just focus on myself and my craft, like it would be amazing because I'd be able to just dive into it. And once I started like rethinking that and like gathering those thoughts, I was like, well, it's right now is the time, so I can either take advantage of it and come out of it. Well, at the time we didn't know how long it was going to last. We're still in it, but my mindset at the time was like, if this lasts more than 6 months, if I can just put my head down and work, learn a new skill, get back into the things that like just working out, reading and stuff like that, like I can get a steps ahead of people that are just going to use this time to watch Netflix, like start picking up other diets instead of sticking on those strict ones, like on all those other habits. I was just, what, I'm just gonna stick to this growth mindset and see what comes out of it, because it's either way there's gonna be some sort of consequence, good one or a bad one.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, for sure. Creative people, I feel like, hold themselves to a higher standard, or just like motivated people. just because
No,
it's more
definitely.
within themselves than competing with the outside sources. But for
Yeah.
sure, but with photography, like how, let's go back. How did you start with photography?
I tell the same story every time someone asks me. It was honestly an accident, man. I was forced into this yearbook class my sophomore year of high school,
Hmm.
which was back in like what 2013. So that's over like around 8 years now. And I was trying to take like this pottery ceramics class, and then you know how you come back the following the summer after that,
Hmm.
and they've told you like these are your classes, and I had left with the mindset thinking I'm coming back and going to be in the ceramics class. I ended up coming back to this yearbook class, and I was trying any way to get out of this, like everything in my power. Just I don't want to be in this class. I ended up just sticking through it, and by the end of the year, like I ended up just falling in love with the craft, and like that like class, it didn't even teach much. It was more of the basics, like the fundamentals, like how to work a camera, just the most basic things of how to use a camera. So I ended up just falling in love with that. Sorry. And that following summer, I worked this just agricultural job just in the orchards and saved enough to buy a camera and just started picking up from where I left off in that class and just learning, going on YouTube, reading articles and stuff like that. And began just shooting everything, like all the genres of photography from like landscape to portrait, nature. And then I went to this concert back in 2014. It was a Jeezy one in Seattle, and something just clicked in my head. By that time, I was already like 6 months into the craft, and I just saw like Jeezy's photographers in the photo pit, and they were just shooting the show. And I was just like, you know, music and photography, that's a nice match. I like music. I'm starting to take photos, so my mind just shifted that way, and the seed was planted. And then after that concert, I just came back home and I started looking up ways like how does one become a music photographer? Like what do I got to do? And like how does it work? You know, and just through trial and error, I ended up trying to shoot a show. Didn't know anything about it, that you need to be like with the music outlet and stuff like that. So that never worked out. And it just went all those little like obstacles, like I said, going back to what we were saying, like it just allowed me to learn more and find ways to go get through them or over them. And years later, you know, I started really like diving into it. I went to college for it and used college as a outlet to network. I didn't really like just go for the college experience. I went into the mindset of like I can meet a lot of people here that can be beneficial to me in the long run. But yeah, I just picked it up as an accident.
Dang, that's crazy. It's
Yeah,
like you grew up in Bridgeport, I grew up in Tanasket, like literally an hour
yeah.
away. I never met you. I met you like just recently, like a year and a half
It
ago,
was like
two,
I want to say almost 2 years. Yeah,
somewhere around there. And it's just like it baffled me because our friend Marcelino, he like introduced us.
yeah. Shout out Marcy.
Yeah, for real. I was just like, I saw all your work and I was like, dang, this is nice. The one that caught my eye was the J. Cole one. I'm a big fan of J. Cole.
Oh, from Bumbershoot.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Saw that one.
yeah.
But another thing was like you're saying you went to the G Easy concert. I remember going to that concert to go watch him, and just to
At
think,
the in Seattle, right?
just to think you
Yeah,
were there taking photos, and then years
yeah.
later, like we collide, and then like we start working together, and we get to know each other. It was just cool. It's just cool how
No, yeah.
such a small world.
I agree. The universe has a funny way of bringing people together. Like I think about that too in scenarios like that. Like I'll meet someone and then we'll start like opening up about who we are, the things that we do, where we've been at in certain um places of our life, and then you end up finding out like, oh, I was there at that time too. And she's like, I wonder why we never met. And there, it didn't happen there, but it happened like years down the road.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
always interesting to me.
It is. It's just a
Yeah.
small world. Photography and music. I see you're doing obviously more, a little more with music videos and all that. Like, how's that transition
Yeah.
from just straight photography to like more video
Um.
a little?
Well, honestly, it is a big transition, obviously, because it's a whole different field, like its own little world. But as far as like everything that I've learned in photography, it wasn't so hard of a transition because all it is now, like you still use the same. It's like almost the same fundamentals of like what you see, like as far as like placement, angles, and all that stuff. Now it's just motion picture. It's just moving photos now. It's just instead of telling a story with one image, it's now telling a story within 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And at first, it was pretty hard. The first music video I shot was just like a wreck, man. I was nervous. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And the first one was for Young Bree, and it was a track called Tiempos en Peligro. Shout out my boy Chase. He's the one that like showed me the ropes and stuff, was there to help me and guide me. But yeah, like honestly, as of now though, like that fear for like shooting a music video, it's gone away. Like now it's just more fun. I've been trying my best to like to now learn the technicalities of that field, because I believe like in anything that you do, no matter what the craft is, the first thing you should learn is the technicalities of your craft, whether it be like how the camera works. Painters, like where the learn every brush, with paints and stuff like that, techniques on how to paint, any little thing, because once you learn that, the technicality of something, when you go perform, now it's play. You don't have to overthink, like, am I doing this right? Am I using the right tools for what I need to do? It's just second nature now.
Oh yeah, going on that, like me personally, I have a tendency on starting things like I like feel like, oh, I'm gonna start this, and then I go after it, and then I start realizing I don't really know like the technical things. Like me doing this YouTube, there's so many little technical things when it comes to YouTube or like fixing your video. So it's just like it's a reminder to people, just if you're gonna do something, go at it 100%.
Correct.
Like 50%, it's better. Quality is better than quantity, is what you hear all the time. With this whole photography, videography, who is someone that you hold dear, like to your heart, like as a role model?
Someone for the longest time, man, when I really started, and up until now, this guy named Henry Wu. I've actually gotten to meet the guy. He's become a friend. He's from Vancouver, Canada, and he does more of the travel photography and music photography. And through him, I started learning, like, because I saw his come up. I saw him shooting from an iPhone to what it is now, like him being featured on Complex. He goes to all the Rolling Loud shows. He's like one of the main like music festivals and stuff like that. And just seeing the growth, like it was tremendous. He really, like, you saw the growth from 1 year, and he just blew up. So it just let me know, like, if you just work hard and like continue to put your head down, like anything's possible for anyone. You just gotta be able to, like I said, just work hard at it. More than anything, learn through failure, because that's the best way you learn. And like how we were just talking about, sometimes you just want to start, and that's nothing bad about that, because I find myself doing those things too. I just go for it without really learning. I just learn as I go, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like that's one of the best things to do as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Henry Wu would be someone I've got, like I said, got to meet the guy. He's giving me a lot of information and just like teach me how to move and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like just learning from someone as a mentor, networking, big thing in any field. I personally,
any field.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what field it is. If you know someone that can teach you something, just even something little, it's gonna help you in your craft. Like if you're giving advice to, like, say the younger generation, like say somebody wants to get into photography, they don't know where to start, what would you tell them to, like, where to start?
I would just pick it up, just pick up the camera. Or if you don't even have a camera, I mean, all these phones nowadays, this is one good camera as well. Just go out and do it. A lot of us, and I find myself at times when we make excuses. We say, oh, well, I don't have the stuff, or I'm just not there yet. And like the more that you do that, like the more that it sets you back, when you can just say, screw it, like let's just go and do it. And that was me back in the day as well. Like when I find myself thinking, because with the photography thing, I just jumped into it without knowing. I wasn't waiting for anyone to teach me. I was like, well, if anyone's going to learn, it's myself. I would throw myself into situations where I didn't know what I was doing, but I just acted like I did.
Yeah.
And as far as that, like, you just surround yourself with obviously people that are doing the craft as well, that can teach you, shadow them. That's always a great thing, because you can't expect to know everything from the jump. Yeah. And as far as you're able to, like I said, if you have friends that do it already, just shadow, ask questions. That's the biggest thing. But just go out and do it, because the more that you wait, the harder it becomes, and you're just losing days. And it's all, what you could have started last week. You let that whole week go by just making excuses, and like you could have already been a week in.
Yeah, exactly.
Learning something
last week. So. As you get older, you get more responsibilities, and that's just the time.
Definitely.
You're gonna have more. Yeah. You gotta like prioritize. So it's like when you're young, obviously you don't want to do. You not want to do it. But
Not a care in the world.
yeah, not a care in the world. You're just like, I don't want to listen to anybody. I'm gonna do my own thing because we've all been there.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
there's a small majority. There are teenagers, young youth that are like determined, and that small percentage is what creates like who you are, who creates like athletes, who create like those creative, determined individuals. So it's like to take your advice and be like, just start. Like everybody
Yeah.
starts at zero. Like
And not only that too, like don't just surround yourself with the person you're trying to become in that field. Another important thing too, I feel like you gotta hang out with like we were saying, mentors. Me in particular, like um the whole time that I've been doing this, like I would surround myself with people that were in the field doing it. I talked to people, Instagram, social media. But another thing too, I made sure I was surrounded by people that were much smarter than me. It wasn't just in the field, just in life, that had more life experience, that had healthy habits that I could pick apart from each person and say like, okay, this person is really good at like managing their time. They got great management skills. This person's really accountable and like how he works out. This person over here is she's very accountable on like organization, and they each teach me something on how I need to be too. Like you got to pick up those certain skills because sometimes you don't come with the whole package,
no.
and like you got to learn from other people, and that's the best thing is learning from other people. Just having, like how they say, you got to surround yourself with 5 entrepreneurs. You can be the sixth one because if you hang out with like 5 bums, you're gonna be the sixth one. So you just got to be very aware of your environment and make sure that in every room that you're in, that you're not the smartest one, or
Yeah.
else you're not really learning
Like
anything. Yeah.
it's a tough situation to be like, I can't hang out with you, like you're not bettering my future. But it's those uncomfortable situations where it's like you gotta think about the long run instead of the
The
short.
longevity.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. It's all
So
about long term.
exactly. Any new work? Any new projects right now?
As of right now, I just finished the music video that's going to be coming out here at the end of the month, here in February, for Young Bree. I'm working on a behind the scenes for Macintosh. That's someone that I've been working with like a lot recently, just doing behind the scenes work for him. As of right now, just doing some photo stuff here on the side. I'm just waiting for the world to open up, man. I'm trying to go to a music concert and just get back to that because I really miss that. I miss just being at shows, photographing artists, and just picking at their brain and stuff like that.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah.
I gotta ask you one more question. Who was, if you had to choose one artist, what artist like had you in awe the first time you went and photographed them?
Well, there's two. There's one, the artist and just this whole team in general was Jeezy's team. Back in 2016 in Denver, Colorado, we actually got to like sit backstage with them. Like we ate where everyone was there, like they had a whole like dinner. And I got to meet like the tour managers. Tour managers is the same for Drake actually. And like I was expecting it to be more of like, they're hired people. They don't got time to really talk to us. We're just there photographing the show. And me being the person that I am, like went up, thanked them, for having us here because they're the ones that say the final words. I'm really the artist of like who can be there, of like photographing shows and stuff, and just gave him the thank you. And he just literally took the time to just turn around and like thank us for being here and like wanting to be a part of the culture and these moments and just capturing it. So that was really good. I didn't really expect that, for the whole staff to just be like open arms
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And the second one would have to be artist King Lil G. I had met him. He was the first show that I actually photographed back in like 2014. But that was more of just like a pass by thing. I just said hi to him, but photographed the shot. I didn't really get to meet him. I didn't really like sit down, have a conversation with him until like 2018 when I photographed him again. And I got to really pick at his brain and like really got to see how he interacts with fans. And like he just cares a lot. He cares a lot for the Mexican race and just minorities in general, and like spreading a message of awareness and like bettering yourself as well, and just like giving out those healthy seeds through his music and like trying to make someone better and just get out of the situation you're in. It's all up to you at the end of the day. So those two artists would have to be like best encounters that I've had. Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking the time, Chris. Nice.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
I'll probably drop the link down below with all your Instagram so people can see your work, what you're all about.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, but thanks for taking the time. I'll let you go.